I've been playing Ligue competitions on Sorare since August, and in this video I'm going to explain how I've already won nearly $500. And Sorare recently introduced Ligue Duo competition, which allows you to team up with me so that you can win up to $50 in the next 2 game weeks. My Ligue journey actually started before the season when I bought early access cards on August 9th, starting with Sebastian Nanasi and Guela Doué from Strasbourg. I had a Strasbourg collection from last season when I played Champion in-season competitions. Champion's no longer available now, and so I had to decide if I wanted to play any of the in-season single league competitions of the big 4 leagues. I decided to focus on Ligue 1. I thought the Premier League and La Liga wasn't high scoring enough for me to progress enough in the streaks, and Bundesliga I kind of remember being a little expensive at the beginning, possibly because they were good scoring players in that league and maybe the streaks were going to be a little easier. But I decided to go into Ligue 1 starting off with Strasbourg and Monaco collections, which looking back a couple months feels like a bit of a disaster, but at the time it felt really good. And I think one of the biggest problems that I faced with them, other than some injury issues, which you can see here, I ended up with 2 Eric Dyer cards, and he's been injured for a few weeks now, not to mention a few others that we'll scroll through. But both Monaco and Strasbourg play midweek during the season. So, having to deal with midweek rotation that then follows into weekend rotation has been a bit of a problem as we moved on from August. Now, it did allow me to participate in some of the European Nights competitions, but I haven't had enough success in those to justify kind of the headaches that came with it. So as you see here at the beginning, it's kind of a smattering of Strasbourg and Monaco cards. I did start to add some Paris FC with this Ilan Kebal. He was going to be a one-off. And then, the more that you grow into your gallery, the more you decide maybe I should have a few more cards of that collection. So you can see Maxime Lopez here, Otavio. Eventually, I started looking into Toulouse as well. And then Lille came about with this Berke Ozer, their goalkeeper. Now, he wasn't released at the beginning of the season. He did have early access cards, but they were about 2 weeks later. So I actually got the 1 of 1,000 of his card because I just don't think everybody was expecting it to come out yet. And so that kind of started my Lille collection because it's a jersey mint and it's a 1 of 1,000. So it got me a bunch of collection points that eventually allowed me to get some better bonuses on my cards. And just kind of scrolling through a little more, you can see just the cards that I have put together. And I'll show you the lineups that I use throughout, and you'll see players from these collections. I don't necessarily stack all the time. I do usually play 2 or 3 teammates together, but very rarely do I do 4 or 5. I do it though, and we'll look at those lineups in a little bit. But I did a video a few months ago that's on the channel. I'll link it somewhere above me here, called Laird versus France. What did I call it? Can I beat Sorare's French army in Ligue 1? And I was really interested in this league because I had success with it last year, both in terms of ROI, and I just had a lot of fun with it. And so I really wanted to focus on the league again. It has a lot of young stars that end up in other leagues. And so I actually have older cards of players from Ligue 1 that are now elsewhere, like Aurelien Tchouameni and Eduardo Camavinga from Real Madrid. I have their Monaco and Rennes cards respectively, and just a bunch of others. And I just find one of the fun things I do on Sorare is I like getting players from either their original teams or original Sorare teams and playing them in lineups. So anyway, I did get a few lineups in ahead of game week 1, which is when we had the division battle. And these are the 4 lineups that I put together. There's a Monaco stack here in the first lineup, kind of a defensive stack with Lamine Camara, and then Maxime Lopez from Paris FC. And I had this Delaine Bakwa from my Strasbourg collection last year. He was still at Strasbourg at the beginning of the season, and so I played him in that lineup, 363 points. And then I had this second one here, which was my fuller Strasbourg stack, along with a Hakimi rare that I have that was actually part of a collection with Lionel Messi and Neymar, which is kind of fun to have. I only needed 360 points to get the first streak. I hit it obviously in this first lineup with 363. I also hit it in this Paris FC stack, which had Obed Cambadio and Mustafa Mbao and Ilan Cabal, who was the first Paris FC card that I had. Lucas Hogsberg from Strasbourg that I didn't play in this lineup, and a Romain Del Castillo, forward card that I have from my Ren collection. I have almost the complete collection of that one. That one scored 383 points and got me the first streak. And for those of you who didn't participate early, the first 5 weeks of Ligue 1, Sorare did 5x streaks. So normally the first streak is $5, but because it was 5x, this lineup actually won $25 just for hitting 360 points. And then my last lineup here was a bit of a punt. Ish Samuel Smith was supposed to start, I think, for Gueledue, but obviously did not. I had Kvaratskhelia, who kind of disappointed as a captain. Restis from Toulouse, the goalkeeper. Kerr didn't start for Monaco, and frankly, the Monaco defensive line wasn't that great anyway. And then Valentin Barco from Strasbourg, who this lineup got me 189, which obviously wasn't that great. So because this was a division battle, this lineup, Team C and Team A, both got straight up into Division 1 for the next week. And then Team B was would be in Division 2, and then Team D stayed in Division 3. So first week, hit the streak, $25. I'm actually not going to count any of the essence or the XP that I won in these lineups. I'm going to go through it. But really, the way that I look at in-season competitions is I'm trying to win way more cash than I spend. And we started off pretty well with $25. So that was game week 1. The next one was game week 3, where we see Team A and Team C, we're in Division 1. Team B and D, 2 and 3. But this first lineup here that I had in Division 1 finished 384 points. It had a Toulouse defensive stack against Brest. So that's Restis and McKenzie. I had Aaron Donham, who takes set pieces for Toulouse. I have a Matias Fernandez Pardo. I got lucky here. Came off the bench and got an assist for the 65 points. And then PSG at home against Angers. Hakimi with a 76. So 384 points. Got me to this second streak. And again, it's a 5x reward. So instead of $10, I won $50 just with this one lineup, hitting 384 points. Now, I did just squeak by. The second level is 380 points. So I only made it by 4. And as you can see here, none of the other lineups were all that good. The second highest scoring one was in Division 2, this Team B lineup with Ozer, Eric Dyer from Monaco, Kendry Paez from Strasbourg, and then Bakwa, who was still there, got an assist, and Chao Enrique. And then Mike Penders was injured for this match. So thankfully, because I was building a Strasbourg collection, I did have the backup goalkeeper at the time, who was Carl Johan Johansson, or Johnson. Lucas Hogsberg didn't play. It happens. Maxime Lopez, there's the Del Castillo, and then Ilan Cabal with a double decisive. But unfortunately, 259 points. I did win 262 essence, but I also got relegated out of Division 1. And then Division 3 here, this is, I feel like, quite impressive. That I got negative decisives on my defensive stack in Paris FC's 5-2 loss to Marseille. Now, they weren't expected to do well in this match, so 5 goals is a lot, but pretty impressive, I think, to have 8 points from 2 players. And if I remember correctly, that game was a Friday, so you could say the whole Friday curse. But I remember checking my lineup and seeing that I had only 8 points and didn't even realize it was from 2 players, not just 1. But there's Lamine Camara. Monaco lost 1-0 away to Lille. Bakwa, same as here, and then Del Castillo. But most importantly, I hit the second streak for $50. So this is within 2 weeks, I had made $75 just from getting up on the streaks. Now, I had to score 400 points the following week in order to get the third streak, which would have been $250. And I didn't really come that close. My number 1 lineup here in Division 1, Obed Cambadio, I believe, was ill before the game, and so he didn't play. I got up to 285 points. Thankfully, it was enough to stay in Division 1. Florin Balogun got a goal for Monaco against Strasbourg. Now, this was two of my collections against each other, which wasn't ideal. There's the Hakimi card that I play pretty regularly. You're going to see that throughout. 321 points in Division 2 got me 500 XP. I did hit 372. Now, I had to get to 400. So I didn't even make really the second streak here, but you know, I got the Herdecki, had a last man tackle, gave up 2 goals, but had that. Cabal had 2 goals. Kvaratskhelia ended up not starting. PSG hung 6 on Toulouse, and it just wasn't enough to get. So my streak ended, and I had this lineup here in Division 3. Mike Penders came back and then had an error led to goal, 5 points, which I kind of wasted this Matias Fernandez Pardo, 2 decisives. I feel like there is a lineup here. I think it's Ozer, Hakimi, Lopez, Cabal, and Fernandez Pardo, and maybe I get there, but I didn't. And so the unfortunate thing with the 5x streaks is that you only got 1 shot at it, and I lost it here. So I only got onto step 2, made $75, and then now I'm starting over. My next lineup was here in game week 9, where my top lineup got relegated thanks to this 0 from Eric Dyer, which, if I remember correctly, okay, he didn't play. I wonder why he's not showing his DNP. So Dyer didn't play. Hakan Haraldsson didn't play. Ozer, 50 points in a 2-1 win over Toulouse. Kvaratskhelia, bad captain again. Cabal, like, this was just an awful lineup. And really, the irony is that I thought was my best lineup going into the game week, and it literally scored the lowest of all 4 and like 102 points less than my second priority lineup, which also had Eric Dyer, Philip Cohn here, just Monaco not doing anything. Strasbourg, I have Barco 60 without a decisive. Maxime Lopez did have an assist, but a yellow card as a captain, 276. All 5, I made 2,000 XP, which, obviously is helpful moving forward, but it didn't even get me to 360 points for the first streak. So here I am the week, or the Ligue 1 game week after losing my streak, and I can't even start a new one because I scored 317 points as the high in 4 lineups. And so I think it was starting to get a little frustrating at that point, because I felt like I had the right players, I was building the right collections, and it just wasn't coming together. And so thankfully in game week 11, I did hit the streak, and it started a new streak where Romain Del Castillo here with a 98, Lamine Camara 74, Monaco win big 5-2 against Metz, but when you have a goalie and a defender, winning 5-2 is not as good as winning 2-0. And so the lack of a clean sheet kind of kept me from getting more, but I only needed 360 points. I got 370 there, and so at least we were able to start a streak again. I did have this Paris FC line full stack against Strasbourg. Now, Paris FC and Strasbourg are 2 of my bigger collections, and so when they play each other, I know that both of them are probably not going to do well, because even, if it's 0-0, then the attackers don't do well. If it's high scoring, then obviously the goalkeeper, and likely the defenders aren't that great. And so 322 points with the Paris FC team in Division 2, which is staying in Division 2. I forgot to mention my top lineup that did hit the streak did get promoted back to Division 1, which you'll see later on why getting into Division 1 is so important. 262 points and 235 points here. Just not enough decisives. There's just way too much yellow and orange here. And so it's a disappointing when you look at it on all 4 of them, but most importantly, I hit the streak, and now we can kind of get going again. So the next one I had was game week 13. I believe this is 13, yeah. And I lost it again. My top lineup, once again, my lowest scoring one. Lamine Camara ended up getting injured, and it wasn't announced until after the game week had locked. And so I went in very confidently with Toulouse hosting Nantes, who are not very good. Monaco were away to Lorient, who are also not great. Lille away to Lyon, Lille at home to Lyon, I felt good about. And then PSG at home against Auxerre. Hakimi doesn't start, so I don't get much out of him. Fernandez Pardo has a decent game, 52 without a decisive, but they lose 1-0. And then Restis and Cresswell gave up 2 goals. Kamara didn't even play. And so it just became kind of a mess. 339 was my highest scoring team, which came in the lowest priority lineup. Got an Ansu Fati goal off the bench, which was matched the Jan Gaboho goal off the bench. And it just felt like maybe I had something here, but whether it was, and Ozair didn't play, I forgot about that. So that just complicated matters. So again, there is a lineup here somewhere that probably does well. I don't even know what Herdecki scored, but maybe Herdecki here helps me get there. But ultimately, not only do I lose the streak, but then now I'm going to be back to having 4 Division 2 lineups. This Division 3 one gets promoted, but the Division 1 gets relegated. So division, game week 15, we start again. And this is where I start to have some success. And I think part of it is because I worked a little harder on getting my collection score higher, whether it was getting it to 3% or 4% or 5%. I didn't want to just rely on the players that I was putting in lineups, but I actually wanted to be able to have those cards be as powerful as they could be. And so my top lineup was this one right here: Strasbourg at home against Angers, Penders and Hogsburg, 67-66 each, or respectively. Cabal with a goal and a win over Lorient. Maxime Lopez, a bit of a disappointment here in that same 2-0 win. And then I bought this Gaultier Hein a couple game weeks earlier as kind of a classic card. He plays for Metz. The home game against Marseille, probably not the ideal one. Looking at this lineup now, it seemed pretty obvious that Moses Simon should have been in this lineup, and scores 23 points higher. And do I even want to look at this? 23 points. I guess would have only gotten me 1,000 essence and 500 XP. So I guess I didn't miss out on any cash with that one. I don't think I would have changed the build any other way. And then I actually, as you see, I did it twice. 438 was my top lineup here. This one won $10, which is in Division 2, which is kind of hard to do. But here I am finishing. What did I finish? 56th here. So 51st through 100 won $10 and 1,000 essence. I got a little boost from my ceiling bonus, and so that's $15 that I won. But like from the $5 from the streak and the 10 from the leaderboard cash, 327 and 325 in these 2 lineups as well. And so it allowed me at this point to have $90 in total. Now, again, that was $75 I won in the first 2 game weeks, thanks to those 5x streaks. I've won $15 since, but I was able to get my streaks back going, which is really just the most important thing that I was looking for with these lineups. I wasn't expecting to have a lot of leaderboard cash, and so being able to get the streak going was really helpful. And so that was step 1. I hit step 2 the following weekend game week with this Toulouse combination of Restis and Donham. I played Jordan Teze, who was away to Angers. Naif Agard from Marseille hit a 52 in their 6-2 win, which was kind of an absurd game home against Le Havre. And then Matias Fernandez Pardo didn't get on the score sheet in a 2-0 win away to Nantes. But I kind of kept going back and forth about whether I wanted to run a full stack in this one. If I remember correctly, Charlie Cresswell was injured for that one. And so I could have played McKenzie here instead of Teze, but Teze was taking set pieces from Monaco, so I was willing to keep going. Gaboho instead of Fernandez Pardo certainly looks like it would have been the call. But again, I got the streak, and unfortunately this lineup here, Hakimi ended up not playing. So I had a Division 1 lineup with a Captain Hakimi relegated. But thankfully this one got promoted, 369 points in Division 2. I needed 380 for the streak, so got it with this one, 386. And if you notice here, I got 63 extra points just from the bonuses. And so that's one of the things that you kind of want to focus on, is just how much you can get from collection bonuses and XP that you win. And so, you may get frustrated when you only win 500 XP, but that can be enough to like boost a player, a full percentage point for the next game week. And then this Team D, just dreadful, 232 points, 25 points to safety and bow, late or surprise scratch or surprise benching. And so then this game or the following game week, I would have 2 Division 1s, 1 Division 2, and a Division 3, but going for the third streak. And so going for the third streak, needed 400 points. I got it twice. This lineup here, 404 points, won me $50 in streak cash. Ozair Hakimi finally comes to play, and I don't captain him, but he got 100. We take it. Fernandez Pardo, 2 assists. Maxime Lopez and Cabal combining for 109 raw points. Cabal captain, couldn't have captained a worse player in the lineup. Even the goalkeeper was better. And then I had this one as well, 407 points, both of these in Division 1. Kvaratskhelia assist, captain, Pierre-Louis Melu with an assist, Haraldson with 2 decisives, but Cambadio just dreadful in a home game against Nantes, who have been like one of the worst teams in the league this year. And then Otavio didn't start, and I thought this lineup was just dead, and then he gets a last man tackle coming off the bench. So, you got to be a little bit lucky, and that one was lucky. And then 344 and 326. This 326, good enough to get promoted to Division 2. I do have 2 Mike Penders cards. He saved a penalty, which is how we got to 71. And then Aaron Donham, 83 points without a decisive. Quite good in an away loss to Monaco. But I got to hit the third streak with this one. I just needed to hit 420 points the next game week to hit the 4th streak. And I did it with my top lineup. And I was super excited about this lineup. Toulouse at home against Rennes. I played 4 Toulouse players thinking that they would do really well. And I got lucky again. Charlie Cresswell with a goal. Gaboho assisted that goal. Aaron Donham had a penalty. That one came late. And then 74 points for Gueledoué in a 3-0 win against Auxerre. I could have played my Strasbourg stack here, but I played it here where I do have an in-season Doué and captained him. Got a 99 from Cabal. And then here's the kind of the defensive stack from Strasbourg, 428 points. I only needed 420 for the streak. Obviously both hit it, and I'm flying. I got $200 there. I finished 7th in Division 1. That's an additional $120. So this one lineup won $320, and then this one won another $350 in one game week was just great, because not only that, but I was going to be given the opportunity the following game week to compete for $1,000, the top prize. And I will say, I'll also add that this was a midweek. All the even game weeks, so game week 22, are midweek competitions. So Ligue 1 played on the weekend, the midweek, and then they were playing again the following weekend. And I strongly considered not playing this game week. You don't have to play you don't lose your streak if you take a game week off. Strasbourg play, like I said, they play midweeks in European competition. So do Monaco, who were away to Nantes on this game week. Lille were away to Nice. And let's see, Paris FC were home against Lyon. But Strasbourg specifically had this good matchup. They were going to, so they played this weekend, game week 21. They played the midweek 22. They played the weekend 23. They were playing the midweek 24 and the weekend 25. And so I was like, all the rotation, I just didn't want to get hit with DNPs. And I really, really considered not playing. And ultimately decided that the Toulouse matchup was good. The Strasbourg lineup, it looked like I could figure out enough of the players who were going to start. Penders obviously did. Mamadou Sarr and Gueledoué. Sebastian Nanasi in this lineup, I could have had him here, although I'm not sure that would have made much of a difference. In fact, he scored less than Cabal, so it probably would have hurt me. But I was super excited about being able to compete for the top prize the next game week. And I was so excited about it that I ended up picking up a Lucas Chevalier and a Vitinha. Now, one of the reasons I did that is Lille had a very good matchup in that game week 23, but Auxerre didn't play in this midweek here because he was ill, and it was unclear if he was going to start at the weekend. And I just did not want to take the risk of missing out on a good matchup and having a DMP kill my streak. And so I ended up buying Chevalier and Vitinha, who is one of the best players in Ligue 1. And if you notice, there really wasn't an overabundance of PSG in my lineups. I had that classic Hakimi, I had the classic Kvaratskhelia, and other than that, I didn't have anybody. And so I decided that because of the matchup that PSG had, they were by far the heaviest favorites, and I was going for $1,000 in the 5th streak, that I was going to buy those players. Now, you'll notice that there are a lot of Halloween edition cards here. I did buy a lot of Halloween edition cards because they help with collections. And one of the things that happened with buying all of those cards is I got wheel spins, and then wheel spins got market credit. So I actually was able to get these cards basically for half price. And so I was willing to use the market credits in order to kind of move my teams forward towards the streak. And so I got to the 5th streak. I got all excited, and I came up way short. I needed 460 points, which if you look back the following week, I would have gotten with this lineup, with this Toulouse and Gueuladoule lineup. But I played Chevalier, who are home against Nice. Chevalier, Hakimi, Vitinha, captain. You can't really ask for much more from Hakimi and Vitinha with these scores without a decisive. But I needed the decisives to get there. And so I went in, I believe they played Friday against Nice. Donham home against Le Havre, and then Fernandez Pardo home against Angers. Like, great matchups, and they didn't get there. 59 raw points for Donham without a decisive is a very good game. Fernandez Pardo 41, not great, but you're just not going to get to 460 points without any decisives. And so my streak came to an end there. That was the highest lineup that I had. Oh, I'm sorry. No, this one beat it by 2 points. Restis and Cresswell got the clean sheet. I was going to play them here instead of buying Chevalier and Hakimi, but to be honest, I wanted 2 good chances at $1,000 at 460 points. Haraldson ended up only getting 48. Gaboho, if Toulouse are going to go 0-0, he's not going to do anything. Kvaratskhelia 100. Captaining Kvaratskhelia wouldn't have gotten me close enough anyway. 313 points in the 3rd lineup, and then 243 here with the Mackenzie DNP and the Ansu Fati 28 off the bench, which got me relegated. So I'm basically back to square one now, which is disappointing because I came so close, but I've now gotten to the point where a lot of my cards are very powerful heading in. And the reason why they are so strong is because I've been working on my collections. And so my Ligue 1 collections that are in season right now, I have 5% on Monaco, 5% on Strasbourg, 5% on Paris FC, 5% on Lille, and 5% on Toulouse. And I do have other cards that I can work on. The Chevalier and Vitinha are at 2% right now because they're Halloween editions. I've crafted 3 Brest cards now. That's at 2% just from the crafting. These also were 2 crafts for if I wanted to start or work a little bit more on a Lyon collection. That's at 2%. But my goal is to use these plus a couple of the PSG guys to chase the streaks again. Today is November 4th. I have so much of the season to go, and I'm just really encouraged by the progress that I've made going through this season. And it felt like I was going to, for a while, it just felt like I was never going to get there. And the fact that I've now had an opportunity to compete for the 5th streak with with cards that are that now have more XP and more collection bonus than they did during that run, just makes me really encouraged for what's to come. Now, I'm sorry, I really hate to do this, but I do have a little bit of spreadsheet content here for you, just to look at kind of where I've been over this journey. Now, these are the point thresholds that I have to get, doing the streak: 360, 380, 400, 420, 460 with these payouts. These are just the regular ones. And you can see here kind of where all of my streaks have gone. So all of the bold ones are the ones that hit the streak for that game week. And then this is the streak cash and the leaderboard cash. And, just totaling it all up, I'm at $505 for the season. And so again, it's been 3 months. I'm at $505. I have not gone and tried to figure out how much I've made or how much I spent on these cards. I have a couple reasons why I'm not doing that, at least not doing it right now. The biggest reason is I feel like looking at how much I've spent now versus how much I've won, there's only two outcomes. One is, okay, I'm doing well and I can keep going, or two, I get really frustrated that I spent a lot more than I've won so far, and it's basically adding stress to a situation that doesn't need to be stressful. The money is already spent. I will say that a vast majority of the cards I bought were with market credits, so even the prices that show on my screen, if I show the details here, I paid half price for these cards, and some of them, most of them are really literally half price cards. And so I can go back and manually check to see how much I actually spent on each one and then figure that out. I just don't think it's that healthy to do it at this point of the season. There's nothing I can do. I don't think I would spend any differently had I, while knowing what I've spent. I'm not going to go out and just buy the highest price cards just because I think it'll help me. I think literally the gallery I've put together is what will give me the best chance to hit the 5th streak at some point. And I've proven that I can compete for leaderboard cash. And so just from a sanity standpoint, I'm willing to kind of leave myself in the dark about how much I've spent. Now, I know how much was in my wallet. I'm not spending an amount that's made me uncomfortable with it. I just don't think it's gonna produce any benefits of knowing. I'm fairly certain that I have not won as much as I spent. I'm 99% certain. But again, I've only been competing for a couple months now, and we've got so much of the season to go. And I do have the opportunity to win some cash during midweeks if I continue to get some PSG players, or if I continue, if Strasbourg or Lille have a good midweek, maybe I can get some midweek cash, but I'm not even thinking about it. It's really just the Ligue competitions that I'm focusing on. And so, and of course if I craft cards and sell them, I'm not including that, but I'm very happy with where I am right now. I've had a really good time with it. I think it's an extremely fun league, and it's given me an opportunity to, learn more about the league, more of the players, and to compete in a situation that I think is really fun. And if this is something that you would like to join me on, you can do that now with this duo competition. And so there's a link in the description of this video. If you have never played Ligue Unlimited this season, or really if you've never played it and would like to start, use the link that's in the description of this video, and we can team up for the next 2 game weeks, which one is on one side of an international break and one on the other. But it's coming up it starts this weekend, so don't wait. But if you score 380 points this weekend and I score 380 points this weekend, you will win $50. I'll win 10. And if it doesn't happen this game week, then you have another opportunity to do it following the international break. So you have 2 shots at it to score 380 points. That's the 2nd streak level. So if you do it the first one of these game weeks, not only will you get that $50, you'll also be getting the first streak. So another $5 just from the streaks. Sorare is doing a double up promo right now to help. So if you buy cards, you can also win Essence and Clues and maybe other cards. But like I said, it's a super fun league to follow. You can see here that I haven't just, bought all the PSG guys and hope for the best. And so there's some really fun strategies to it, and I'd love for you to join me. So like I said, check out the link in the description. It's to become kind of a duo pair for Ligue 1. And yeah, let's see if we can hit the 5th streak together. And yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and good luck out there. Make sure you get outside.